Hi friends, I'm Laura and welcome to my garden. Today I'm going to be showing you around the very first tour of my garden in 2022. It is the late part of March 2022 right now, and there are signs of life starting to pop up around the garden. I am so excited to dive back into gardening. It's been quite a few months since I've had some meaningful work to do in the garden, and a few months since we've lived here at our house because our home was being repaired after a flood. So we're so excited to finally be moved back home. I'm so excited to have my garden back, and just, yeah, it's beautiful, and I want to show you all the fun stuff happening. So if we step out onto the back deck, we have a few supplies here for me to start seed starting. And then over here, we've got like a fern that needs to be recycled, some pansies that need to get moved into the sun and trimmed, and some more pansies, I believe. Over here, we have quite a few things happening. This chrysanthemum is starting to come back. Not sure what that was. I think that might have been a pansy from winter that died. I'm not sure. If so, it's the only pansy that didn't make it. And then I've got this perennial grass thing. This one is also supposed to be a perennial grass, and I see some new greenery starting to come out the bottom. I loved this in autumn. It was a beautiful gift from a friend after I lost my sweet girl dog, and she brought me a ton of plants to make over the porch and just to give me a space to process my grief, and a space that brought me happiness during that season. So really love this plant. I've almost wanted to put it over there in one of the raised garden beds, but I'm afraid it might be a little too invasive because it is a type of grass. So for now, I think I'm gonna trim it and then keep it in a container. Here we have tons of calabrachia coming back from last year, and it was such a beautiful color. I kind of want to see what it does, and then I want to go through and cut off all the dead and old growth and just let all the new stuff take over. This beautiful planter is from last year. It is entirely made of perennials. We got vinca vine here, and then we also have hellebore, and I love this hellebore so much with its dark purple color. I think it's so beautiful. Like, how stunning is that? And then the vinca vine I am just obsessed with, and it's coming in like crazy. Lots of new growth here. So I think what I'm going to do is cut back all of these stems from last year's vinca vine. You can see, I mean, they still look really good and they're big and beautiful, but the vinca vine is coming in so strong with all of this new growth here from the middle that I don't want it to choke out my hellebore. So I want to do a good prune of that. I can also come in and cut off all of last year's hellebore leaves that are kind of hanging out to the side there, and you can see they look kind of rough. But now that they have their new leaves and their new blooms, we don't need last year's. So really excited about that. And then over here, I am so excited to see some of my herbs making a comeback. Here we've got mint julep, and then the one that's doing the best is the oregano. Not sure about everything else right now. The lavender, I think, is a goner because I cut it back so harshly right before it frosted last year. But the rosemary does look like it's coming back. I've thought about putting the rosemary out into the garden somewhere, the raised garden beds, because I love rosemary so much, and also lavender. But I'm afraid that either one of those might be kind of invasive. I've heard they can take over a space very, very quickly, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm not sure. That's just kind of where my thoughts are right now in terms of where I'd like things to go versus where they're going to stay for now. The thyme is also coming back. I'm so excited for this because these were all looking very much like this a month ago. They all looked very dead. So I'm excited to see all this new growth, and then I can come in here and prune out all of these old vines that aren't going to do anything. And then I had also planted some radishes. I did white radish and red radish in the autumn, and neither of those came up. I don't know if you can tell from just this video, but like there's a puncture hole here, there's a deep hole there, here, 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 there, here, going into the lavender plant. Like that's a really deep hole there. It's like my entire index finger. So something has been getting in here and going down deep and kind of tearing at and eating everything. I think they ate all the radishes I had planted. Which is fine. Again, we weren't living at our house. Our cat wasn't living here. Our cat was staying with friends, and our dog was staying with us in a hotel. But now that we are living back at our house, I think just having the cat and the dog here will probably take care of whatever was getting in here and eating all that. I'm guessing it was a bird or something. I don't know. Those are pretty deep holes for a bird, though. I've never seen a bird create a hole like that. Whatever it was, hopefully our beautiful pets will prevent that animal from wanting to come up here again now that we're back home and this is going to be growing things. This is a chrysanthemum from last autumn, another one that my friend had gotten for me, and you can see all that new growth down there. I need to come in and chop this whole thing off, all the dead stuff up on top, and give that growth down at the bottom lots of room to come in. And then here we have a bleeding heart, which has not produced any blooms in probably about 10 months. I bought it a year ago and all the blooms fell off, and the foliage is looking really good, but no blooms. So I'm not sure what's up with that. And then we have tons of pansies that I planted around the base of this. And I planted these in November, I believe. And they were transplants from a nursery. I bought them at a nursery, and they are just so stunning. Look at that color. It's so beautiful. And there's a few different varieties here. So some of them have lots of yellow. Some of them only have a tiny bit of yellow. Some of them are like all red, like this one. Just lots of beautiful pansies around the base of that one. But if this bleeding heart doesn't produce blooms in the next year, I think I'm going to take that out, which would be really sad because it was expensive. When I bought it, it was in full bloom, and I think it was like $30 last year. So I'll have to get into one of my gardening Facebook groups that I'm in and ask people their advice about this one and see what I can do to encourage blooms to come in. The foliage has been looking really great ever since I added coffee grounds because I found out it likes a slightly more acidic soil. But other than that, no flowers coming in. Then we've got a whole container of pansies right here. This has just been such a light lately, such a joy. Very beautiful. And then right here we have an evergreen. I would have to look up the tag to remember what it was, but she's not doing so hot. I think I need to cut her back pretty severe. I'm not sure. You can see there is some new light green growth towards the tips here, but most of these seed pods I think are left over from last year maybe. I don't know, maybe they're this year. I can't tell, but this should have been flushed with like pink purple blooms all over the end of every single one of these branches. And you can see like right here, there are new blooms coming in, but I don't know. It's just looking very, very sad right now. And then we've just got some empty pots and a dead pot. So that's everything that's on the porch. We've got a few kids' toys I need to pick up from when we had the kids over. I've got some more pots here. These were plants that I tried to overwinter. Oh, that one looks like it might be okay. Let me yeah, I think that might have a little bit of green in it. I think this one's called a chenille, I think. I'd have to look that up. But it was really beautiful. It had like these pink cattail looking blooms at the end of it, and I loved it. It's a shade summer annual. But I brought them inside to overwinter them. We had to move out of our house because of the flood. My friend took care of them. And I think this one got a little dried out, so I don't know if it's going to come back. I think what I'll do is cut it back and see if there is green stalks in there, and if so, she should come back fine, and that would be wonderful. And then I think this was the same thing, yeah. So I'll have to cut this one back too and see if there's any green inside those stems. Here we've got 2 containers full of chrysanthemums of all different colors, but they've flooded because these are self-watering containers. And I didn't know, because I had just bought these last summer actually to potentially use at our wedding, but they ended up in the garden. I didn't realize that we get way too much rain in the spring and winter here to use self-watering containers. In the summer, it's so dry. We really do need self-watering containers if it's an option, but these have just been flooded, and I have no idea how to easily get all that extra water out of there. Like, you can just kind of see it sitting up there on the top. But if I pour it, all this slushy mud is just gonna come right out and pour over the side there. So you can already see where I did that a few times, and the soil comes out too. Another one full of different chrysanthemums. These ones are starting to come back in a few places. I probably need to do a trim back of both of those. Then stepping out into the yard, we have our persimmon tree here. She's so cute. I'm not really seeing any growth on her yet. This is the first time I'm really looking. Okay, we have like the start of a baby bud right there where my thumb is, but not a whole lot of growth on her. I really want to come in, pull up all these weeds growing around the base here, and then I want to do like a mound, maybe, if that is possible, of like mulch around the outside rim here to help retain water and kind of be like a dam, so that way we can fill up water in the center of the retaining wall made of compost or wood chips or whatever, and let that water. That way this persimmon tree gets more water in the summer this year, because I think that's why it didn't produce any fruit last year. And then we need to come in. I don't know if you can tell how tight these ties are right here, but the trunk of this tree has grown quite a lot since the last time we tied it up, and both of these green ones I think need to get clipped, so that way they're not pulling on the tree in a damaging way. I think these red ones are just fine because these are newer tapes added to help support the tree, but the green ones definitely need to get clipped. Then I can take you over here to the raised garden beds. Loving this space so much. Oh my gosh. Do you see this raspberry bush? Oh my gosh. So I was just out here probably like a week ago, and there was none of this greenery on there. So this is very, very exciting. Lots of greenery coming in there. And I actually want to try a cool method for the raspberry bush this year, where you prune some of the stalks, and then you root those prunings and you propagate more raspberry bush. And then I was hoping this whole bed could become raspberry bush. Right now it just kind of pours out into the neighbor's yard like that, but I don't know. I think that could be really beautiful and fun, and also get me tons of raspberries. I love raspberries. And then right here, I've got some sedum that's coming back from last year, and she looks so good, so fluffy, but I really need to move her. And then I've got some dianthus in the back corner of this first bed. I don't love this growth habit though. You see how the old wood is really shrubby and it comes out to like right here, and then the new growth starts. So I don't love that. I don't know, but maybe I can kind of like get a support out here and have it grow upright more. That would be good. And then we have another dianthus that looks like it might be coming back, so we'll see what these things do. And this looks like a new shoot from the raspberry bush over here. Just came up. So that's, oh yeah, that's definitely raspberry. I don't know if you can tell, but it's got those light pink reddish little fuzzies all over here that will become thorns in the summer. We also have some weeds in here that I need to come in and really cut out. Actually, is this a weed? Yeah, this is a weed. I have some chrysanthemums I pulled out from last year, and some of those have started to come back, so. And then let me just show you the joy over here. Can you see that? How beautiful are all of these wildflowers? And then I am so excited about this bed right here. So excited. I planted all of these in November. And this is an entire bed full of spring blooming flowers. They are all tulips and daffodils. And look at this daffodil right here. Like, how gorgeous is she? Right? She's so pretty. And then we've got a tulip coming up right here. This tulip is probably my favorite so far. Just look at that peach color. Oh my goodness. I think she's so pretty. And then we've got a pink one right here. This one's like a brighter pink than this one. And I think this one's a parrot variety because you can see the leaves are kind of fluffy at the edges there. I'm so excited to see all of these come up and see what they look like. This is my first time ever doing spring blooming bulbs, and I dedicated this entire bed to them, and it's definitely like a from now on thing. I'm obsessed with it. It looks so cute. And then over here, we've got another dianthus that is coming back, and I thought this right here was gonna be a perennial, just like this one that was coming back, but no, it's not. It is some kind of weed, so I need to take that out. Oh my gosh, hold on. Do you see that? That's the first bee of the season. It's the first one I've seen. Like, there aren't any others out yet. Oh, he's big and fluffy. He's taking advantage of all those beautiful weeds. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. Soon our entire yard is going to be filled with those carpenter bees. So anyway, dianthus, a weed. We've got more stuff in here coming up, I think mostly a weed. Another dianthus. I think this one I want to give away to a friend though. I don't know. I'm kind of over the growing habit of these dianthus. They want to like mound instead of grow upright, and I have such limited space with just 4 raised garden beds that are only 2 feet wide that I really want to maximize my growing space. And if I have a perennial that takes up that much space as it's getting started, and it will take up more as it starts to bloom, I just don't know if that's like a great use of my limited space. Over here, we've got some stock avalanche. This is from Floret, and I planted this from seed last spring, and nothing ever happened with it, so I thought it was a failed one. But she's coming in now, and that's one stalk. Here's another stalk. It looks like we have, no, this is not more of that. This is more of what was in the first bed. What is this? Oh, not yarrow. I'm forgetting the name already. Sedum. This is sedum that's coming back from last year. I need to pull up all these weeds. This right here, I don't think is a weed. I think that's the giant white chrysanthemums that I had in the garden bed last autumn. And I pulled them all up and gave them to a friend. And some of the baby roots that were left behind just sprouted into new plants. Right here we have another stalk, and I'm very encouraged because this does not look like the white one. This looks like the apricot one, and I'm really excited because that was my favorite stock plant that Floret had, and I planted a bunch of seeds and I thought all of them died, but I think I have one apricot one that a year later is starting to do something, and then we've got this beautiful white one here, and then we have some more offshoots like this and that, and we'll see what they do. This one, I'm not sure what this is. I'll have to like take a picture of it and put it in a garden group, but I'm sure it's something I either started from seed or a perennial from last year that I had transplanted. But looking at it like this, I'm not sure what it is, but it's really pretty. And then if I zoom out here in between the stock apricot and the stock avalanche, we have my hydrangea bush. And look at all those beautiful green buds all over her. Oh my gosh, I need to come in and clean this up really well. Like any of these spindly ones and anything that's growing inward towards the inside, probably, I need to get rid of so that way it has really good airflow. Right here we've got more. I think this is, oh yeah, that's chrysanthemum, I think, from what I pulled out last year. The leaves definitely are saying chrysanthemum. And then right here, we've got another one of those things that I had planted down there, which now, you know, the latest I was planting stuff was like August, I think. So whatever it is didn't come up until the spring, and I've totally forgotten what I planted there now. Right here, I think this is, what is the name of this? Tichimbakia or something? I'll have to look it up. I'm forgetting all my flower names. It's been so long since I've been in the garden, but this is finally coming back and I'm very excited about this. And then another dianthus here. We've got another hydrangea bush right here. I don't see a single green bloom on this one, just all of last year's spindly little branches. Oh no, I take it back. We've got the tiniest starting of a bud. I don't know if you can tell, like right there where my thumb is. The tiniest bit of green. Sorry, this lighting is really hard to kind of show you good stuff in. Need to come through and weed all of this. And then in the second half of the very last bed, I've got some beautiful pansies here. Very, very excited. Look at how gorgeous those are. Oh my gosh. And then right here, this is a Heucherella, and this one's called Pink Revolution Foamy Bells. So I'm forgetting what this is exactly, but she looks real cute, so that should be fun. And yeah, I think that's about it. The whole rest of this bed is kind of sparse, and then this one is mostly weeds with a hydrangea bush that has not woken up yet. This one's mostly sparse with some perennials coming in. We've got the hydrangea bush that is fully waking up here. I'm very excited about that. Both of my stock plants, a sedum coming back, whatever those things are. Huge weed, dianthus, tulips, daffodils, raspberry, more sedum, and more dianthus. So this is what the spring garden looks like. I'm in zone 7B, right on the North Carolina, South Carolina border in Charlotte, North Carolina. So excited that the garden is starting to wake up for spring, and I'm very excited to get started on some wonderful gardening projects for 2022. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll meet you in the garden next time. Bye.